He's great, isn't he, Donald Trump? Isn't he fun? Looks like somebody urinated on his head. There's never been a plan. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't even know where countries are located. He's so ridiculous.
You know, and that was it. That was the last time I saw him.
You know what?
Yes. Breaking news. News is
Breaking news, yes.
He's co-hosted here.
Has he? With
He
you?
has he's co-hosted
You
with me.
sat next to him?
Next to
How
him,
was
yeah.
that?
What was that like?
It was so interesting because this
He's
was
probably good at that because he can talk about
100%.
this stuff.
He can talk about anything, but he was talking about being president then. He was talking about it
How
then.
long ago was it?
Would you ever have Donald Trump on your show? No. What if he asked you?
No.
What about Melania? Would you have her on your show?
Melania? What's to talk about what? She can barely speak English.
What do you think about her as the first lady?
Exactly what I think about him as the first man. Nothing. I don't respect either one of those people.
If he were here right now, what would you say to him?
Off. I mean, gross. He is the grossest. Physically, emotionally, mentally. Those statues they made of him were accurate. I bet you that is what he looks like naked, with a little grape in between his legs.
More ruthless than his bankrupt casinos, Chelsea Handler just obliterated Donald Trump on live TV. Trump got dragged like a cheap wig in a hurricane. His ego, his lies, and whatever's sitting on his head all got roasted. His orange spray tan practically started melting in real time. Chelsea dished out a takedown hotter than a McDonald's lawsuit. So if you love watching America's loudest loser get verbally wrecked, buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
The only dead pet I know about is the one on your head, and she mopped the f***ing floor with it.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Why can't you just be happy you'll have somebody to date when you get to prison, girl, huh? He lied about everything. He said he knows nothing about Project 2025. He lied about the 2020 election, and he lied about IVF.
I have been a leader on fertilization.
No, you're not. That's Nick Cannon, asshole. But Trump's biggest lie was about his health care plan.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I don't want a world leader with concepts of a plan. A concept of a plan is what I have when I...
Everyone's favorite tantrum-throwing man-baby was at it again, making up numbers, talking nonsense, and proving that his brain processes information about as fast as a potato. Convinced he was the smartest person in the room, he flailed around in his usual mess of half-baked lies and full-blown delusions. But let's be real, he's never even been the smartest person in an empty room. Then came Chelsea Handler like a wrecking ball coated in pure, unfiltered truth. Just when he thought he could get away with running his mouth again, oh boy, did she shut him down without mercy.
The New Republic has a theory that Donald Trump may have contracted syphilis in the 1980s, around the time he looked like this. And Melania looked like this.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Chelsea didn't just roast him, she seasoned him, slow-cooked him, and served him up with a side of pure humiliation. It was like he was trying to become the first human traffic cone, and she dragged his ever-intensifying orange spray tan through the mud. She went in on everything: his Twitter rants, his inability to form a clear sentence, and his diet, which consists entirely of fast food and resentment. Like a raccoon diving headfirst into a dumpster fire, she tore into his legal troubles, except in this case, the dumpster fire is his entire life. Just when you thought she might ease up, she hit him harder than the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. His lawyers probably wanted to object, but let's be real, they're too busy filing for bankruptcy. By the time Chelsea was done, Trump wasn't just roasted, he was burnt to a crisp and left out like a spoiled Trump steak. If words could leave bruises, he'd be wrapped head to toe in gold-plated bandages right now.
Trump, who the majority of Americans think is a huge fucktard.
Now, let's talk about Trump's intelligence, or whatever's left of it. Chelsea laid it out plain and simple. Even a dictionary would throw in the towel trying to make sense of his scrambled speech. He's historically terrible at everything, yet he still can't form a single coherent sentence without somehow turning it into a rant about how he's the greatest of all time. Ask him about the weather, and he'll twist it into a speech about winning the most important election ever, even though he didn't win. Chelsea made it crystal clear: Trump isn't just clueless. Even lost socks in the laundry have a better sense of direction than he does.
Who was sold to us as the progressive voice of reason who would be able to moderate Trump's crazy impulses. But whenever he does anything reprehensible, she skips town. Like when he proposed the first Muslim ban, she went skiing in Aspen. When he gutted funding for Planned Parenthood, she went skiing in Whistler. When he fired James Comey, she went skiing on the powdery slopes of Mount Kofifi. Ivanka was supposed to be our Wonder Woman, but now we're just wondering where the fuck that woman is. And we know she's not skiing because it's June and also because her dad deported all the snow.
Let's get one thing straight. Donald Trump could be at a charity event for orphaned puppies, and instead of talking about, the puppies, he'd turn it into, nobody loves puppies more than me. I have the biggest puppy fan club. Everyone says I'm top dog. The world could literally be on fire, and he'd still be bragging about how he had the biggest crowd in history. Spoiler, he didn't. Enter Chelsea Handler. She took one look at Trump's circus and said, "Honey, your ego isn't just a personality trait, it's a cry for help." Chelsea didn't just roast him, she diagnosed him. He's like a broken robot stuck on me, and everyone's out to get me. And oh, did she drag his favorite hobby, playing the victim. If whining were an Olympic sport, Trump would have a gold medal and another one for lying about it. Every loss, a conspiracy, every criticism, fake news, every consequence, a witch hunt. At this point, the only thing Trump hasn't blamed for his failures is his own reflection in a gold-plated mirror. And that's only because self-awareness is as foreign to him as humility. Chelsea's takedown was surgical. Real leaders take responsibility. Trump, he runs from accountability faster than he dodged the draft. She shredded his bone spurs excuse, calling him the human equivalent of a participation trophy, loud, empty, and convinced he's the main event. But the real comedy? Trump's inability to laugh at himself. He's so thin-skinned, he'd probably sue a cactus for looking too prickly. Meanwhile, the rest of us are watching him argue about crowd sizes while his entire life goes up in flames. And let's not forget his witch hunt obsession. By now, Trump's probably blaming witches for the fall of Rome, the Dark Ages, and the fact that his hair dye is 2 shades too orange. Chelsea pointed out the obvious: it's always someone else's fault. Usually someone with a functioning moral compass. And Trump's response? Predictable. He'll retreat to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social, and type in all caps, "Chelsea Handler is a radical leftist bum," because nothing says I'm secure like rage posting about a comedian. Before you go, if you're here for the burns, hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are freeloading, just like Trump at a buffet. We see you, Donnie. Final thought? Trump's presidency wasn't just a disaster, it was a masterclass in how not to be a human. And Chelsea, she's the teacher holding up the answer key.
Donald Trump will be saying to his kids and Melania's body double sitting in his gold-plated dining room. Trump has a lot to be thankful for. On his recent trip to Asia, he got to play this super fun game of Red Rover in the Philippines with Duterte. Red Rover, stop sending Mexicans over. He's also thankful that Melania was able to find a new friend when she was over in Beijing. It turns out she's as eloquent on Twitter as her husband. After meeting the panda, Melania tweeted, "Wonderful to met Gugu."
Then came the physical roast, and folks, this was brutal. Chelsea didn't just take the gloves off. She threw them into a bonfire fueled by Trump's dignity and danced on the ashes. First up, his complexion. Chelsea didn't hold back. "The man looks like he lost a wrestling match with a bag of Cheetos," she said, squinting at a photo. "That orange glow? It's not a tan, it's a warning sign. Somewhere, a spray tan technician is probably on the run, because whatever they did to Trump should be illegal." She even had a theory maybe his color was the result of a tragic accident involving a self-tanner factory, a rogue leaf blower, and an Oompa Loompa who never got the memo. Then came the hair, and Chelsea was just getting started. "That's not a hairstyle, that's a cry for help," she deadpanned. It's like a science experiment gone horribly wrong. Imagine a squirrel caught in a wind tunnel, clutching a family of blonde guinea pigs for dear life. She joked that every morning a team of engineers, meteorologists, and magicians must strategize how to sculpt it. They probably rely on a mix of superglue, wishful thinking, and a Ouija board just to keep it from collapsing. But Chelsea wasn't done. I'm not even convinced it's hair, she mused. It's an elaborate burden that a very confused bald eagle calls home. Honestly, you could hide an entire family of raccoons in that thing. And let's be real, the Secret Service probably checks it for contraband before every speech. The crowd roared because, really, who needs subtlety when you can compare Trump's head to a glow-in-the-dark Halloween decoration and his hair to a failed DIY project from Home Depot? Trump's response? Predictably unhinged. He'll retreat to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social, and type something like, "Chelsea Handler is jealous of my natural beauty." Because nothing screams confidence like rage posting at a comedian who just compared your hair to a tornado ripping through a wig factory. Before you go, if you're here for the burns, hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are freeloading, just like Trump at a buffet. We see you, Donnie. Trump's face could be a before ad for sunscreen, and his hair, the after ad for a tornado. Thanks, Chelsea, for reminding us that comedy is the best revenge.
Tired of all the infighting. You know he hates when people fight. He absolutely hates it.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. I'm gonna bomb the shit out of him. Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees, I promise. Yeah, throw him out. Throw him out into the cold. Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy.
And now, the suits. Chelsea did not hold back. She asked the question we've all been wondering. Why does every Trump suit look like it was made for a man secretly stuffing dinner rolls into his pockets? He always looks like he's preparing for a food shortage. Honestly, his suit jackets are a bizarre mix of a Mar-a-Lago tablecloth and a parachute. Chelsea joked that if someone ever yanked the ripcord on one of those things, Trump would be flying over Florida in seconds, flapping like a startled flamingo. Then came the ties. Why are they so long? Does he have secret documents hidden in there? When the FBI comes knocking again, does he use them as emergency escape gear? Chelsea even suggested his absurdly oversized ties are actually a desperate cry for help. Trump just wants to be saved by a tailor with a dream and a measuring tape. Oh, and the hands. Chelsea had to go there. She pointed out that Trump's tiny hands wouldn't even reach above the cornstalk, so if he ever got stuck in a corn maze, he'd never find his way out. Shaking hands with him must be awkward, a little unsettling, and leave you questioning how this man ever had access to nuclear codes. Chelsea summed it up perfectly. It's like a toddler handing you a crayon, and then there's the pout. That tight-lipped permanent scowl makes him look like he just lost a staring contest with a microwave. Why does he always look like he bit into a lemon only to realize it was actually a bad battery? Chelsea had a theory maybe he's permanently confused that the world doesn't revolve around him. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the result of decades of suppressing sneezes. By the time Chelsea was finished, Trump wasn't just roasted, he was a full-blown human piñata from a 6-year-old's birthday party.
Kushner, if they don't take care of this, he will. Which means he's going to go golfing and let someone else figure it out.
And naturally, no Chelsea Handler roast of Trump would be complete without tearing into his so-called wealth, or rather his complete lack of it. Trump's financial records read like a tragic comedy, and Chelsea didn't hold back. She pointed out that he brags about his money the same way a college student brags about their car when it's really their mom's. If bank statements could cry, Trump's would be sobbing into a mountain of unpaid court fees. Chelsea brought up a brutal truth. Trump's idea of business success has failed so many times that monopoly boards are probably filing restraining orders against him. The only thing he's truly mastered? Convincing gullible people to pay for his lifestyle. Chelsea compared his financial track record to a drunk tourist in Vegas who thinks they have a winning system only to wake up broke. And yet, Trump still struts around like he's the Einstein of economics. His supporters throw money at him faster than ketchup hits a wall. Chelsea even wondered, does Trump just bill his followers with something like a patriotism fee? Or does he at least pay for his own McDonald's? One thing's for sure, if wealth were measured by lawsuits and bad decisions, Trump would be the richest man on the planet.
Even more of a bag than we originally thought.
We heard some truly insane testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Cassidy painted a very unflattering portrait of Trump's behavior on January 6th, including the little bitch fit he threw when the Secret Service wouldn't let him go to the Capitol during the riot.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol."
And when grabbing the steering wheel didn't work, he grabbed the car by the...
The best part? Chelsea didn't just roast Trump. She slow-cooked him with pure sarcasm, seasoned him with brutal truth, and served him up with a side of harsh reality. She made it painfully clear Trump's popularity is fading faster than one of his bankrupt casinos. His influence? Drying up like his spray tan after a rainy round of golf. But oh no, Trump is still out there, desperately clinging to relevance, begging not to be fired like a contestant on The Apprentice. And then there's his fan base. Chelsea didn't hold back. She called out Trump's most loyal supporters as the human equivalent of spoiled milk. Sour, suspicious, and best left alone. His remaining fans? A wild mix of conspiracy theorists, people who think the moon landing was fake, and guys who still believe their high school football coach should have put them in the game. Chelsea said it best, Trump isn't leading a movement. He's just in charge of a Facebook comment section that's completely lost its mind.
Who is this book for? And my theory is that Ivanka cut and pasted this opus together for her daddy. Because nobody on the planet needs this useless collection of gibberish more than that fat clown. For instance, on page 109, Ivanka writes, "Don't leave early or take time off. Too late."
Meanwhile, Chelsea Handler is out here thriving, dropping truth bombs like they're hotcakes at an all-you-can-eat brunch. Trump definitely not invited. While he's busy raging on Truth Social about fake news and witch hunts, Chelsea is living rent-free in his head, and she's redecorating. Picture neon signs flashing. This guy is a walking, talking cautionary tale. She didn't just call him out, she put up a billboard in his psyche. Welcome to the Trump Museum of Failure. Exhibit A, the human infomercial. Because let's be real, Trump isn't some political mastermind. He's what happens when a reality TV star confuses himself for a genius. Chelsea made it clear Trump is the perfect example of failing upward and dragging everyone down with him. She also broke down his incredible talent for losing. This man has taken more L's than a malfunctioning GPS, Trump Airlines, crashed, Trump Steaks, cooked beyond saving, Trump University, more lawsuits than diplomas. The only thing he's built successfully? A fan base that treats him like a messiah despite all the evidence proving he's just an overcooked Cheeto with a Twitter addiction. The emperor has no clothes, Chelsea quipped. And honestly, he should really stop standing that close to the tanning booth. She's the comedy world's version of a whistleblower, shouting into the void that the only thing gold-plated about Trump is his delusion.
Trump's also thankful for the entire season of autumn because it's that special time of year when all of the leaves change colors and they fall to the ground.
The world is moving forward, but Trump is stuck in the same tired routine, complaining about lawsuits and telling his followers that everything is against him, even while he's playing golf. Chelsea put it best, Trump's future is looking about as bright as a candle in a hurricane. Ouch. Meanwhile, Chelsea is out here winning, practically putting together a PowerPoint presentation titled, "Why Trump is Yesterday's News." She's making sure everyone remembers that no matter how much Trump keeps shouting into the void, history won't see him as a leader. It'll see him as the world's loudest cautionary tale. And honestly, that might be the only legacy he can't slap his name on and overcharge for.
When Trump's Attorney General Bill Barr told him there was no evidence of election fraud.
The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall, which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out.
Melania also has to wipe things off the wall after their annual Mar-a-Lago penetration.
Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage.
It's going to take a lot of courage when you're in prison doing some full-throating of your own, sister. Love it.
By the end, Trump looked like a broken animatronic at a rundown Chuck E. Cheese glitching, confused and desperately yelling into the void that he's still relevant. Chelsea Handler didn't just land jokes. She obliterated the biggest punchline of them all. Donald J. Trump. He's not a leader, she said. He's a living Rachel statue. And just like that, she wrapped up 4 years of chaos in one perfect line. A human dumpster fire who mistakes arson for charisma? Trump's every failure was fair game. But Chelsea's real genius? She didn't just mock him, she weaponized the truth. He's a cautionary tale, she smirked, about what happens when you let a guy who thinks "kafif" is a word anywhere near the nuclear codes. And as for Trump's response? Oh, we already know. He'll run off to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social and type, "Chelsea Handler is a radical leftist bum." Because nothing screams control like an ego more fragile than his hairpiece. But the real victory? Chelsea reminded America that Trump isn't a genius. He's not a messiah. He's just a cosplay villain who's more expired coupon than commander-in-chief.